He didn't hold back, no pause, no explanation, not even an attempt to soften it. "You're not invited to Christmas this year." My dad just dropped it on me like he was canceling a subscription. "We're keeping it small." I stood there in my kitchen, phone pressed between my shoulder and ear, watching steam rise from the kettle. The sound of it filled the silence where I should have reacted. "Okay," I said. That was all. No arguments, no questions, no demand for an explanation. I didn't trust myself to do more. He hung up first. I stood there a little longer than necessary, letting the kettle scream its way to a boil before I turned it off. My reflection in the microwave door looked calm, almost unexpectedly so. Not numb, not angry, just done. This wasn't the first time I'd been excluded from a family holiday. It was just the first time it was said so bluntly, with no pretending. In the past, it was, "You're working anyway," or, "We didn't think you'd want to come." But this time, it was clear, no sugarcoating. I sat down at the table and put my phone face down. For a few moments, I didn't do anything that mattered in the past. I would have been drafting messages in my head, arguments, clarifications, small, painful attempts to negotiate my place. Instead, I opened my laptop, not out of bitterness, but out of habit. The 8th follows and transfer confirmation was still sitting in my inbox from 2 weeks ago. My dad had called it a holiday fund when he asked for it, the chalet deposit, the groceries, the extra room in case anyone else wanted to stay. I'd sent it like I always did, early, quietly, no conditions. I opened my banking app and reversed the transfer, less than 10 seconds, a neutral screen. A check mark, the transfer was complete. There was no rush of satisfaction, just a strange feeling. Like I'd put down a weight I didn't realize I'd been carrying for so long. Next was a chalet. The reservation was under my name, like it always had been at first. That detail hadn't seemed important when I booked it was just easier that way. Now it felt significant. I called customer service, waited through the soft instrumental music on the line when the agent picked up. I calmly explained that I needed to cancel the reservation due to a change in plans. She apologized, the kind of apology that doesn't cost anything. "No problem," she said. "I'll take care of that for you." She read the refund amount back to me. I thanked her, and we ended the call just like that. No speech, no big announcement, just a quiet withdrawal of something I hadn't realized I was still offering. That night, I left my phone face down. The first missed call came at 1:30 p.m., then another, and then 3 more in a row. No voicemails, just the buzzing vibration like an insect trapped under glass. I went to bed. By the next morning, there were 31 missed calls. I sat up against the headboard, scrolling through them slowly. My dad, my aunt, my cousin, numbers that hadn't lit up my phone in months, sometimes even years. Still, no messages. At least not at first. Then, one voicemail appeared from my dad. I listened to it once, then again. His voice was different, tight, not angry, but concerned in a practical, logistics gone wrong kind of way. "Hey," he said, "call me when you get this. We've got a problem with the chalet. They're saying it's canceled and the account's short. There's been some kind of mistake." I stared at the wall while the message ended. It wasn't the panic that made me laugh. It wasn't even the assumption that it was a mistake. It was the order of things. Not "Why did you cancel?" Not "Did I do something wrong?" Not even "Are you okay?" Just the thing I expected to be there is gone. That was when it hit me, not as a revelation, but as confirmation. I didn't call back right away. I made myself a cup of coffee, took a shower, let the day unfold slowly. When I checked my phone again, there was a text this time. "We need to talk about this. Christmas isn't for days." I typed a response, deleted it, and typed again before settling on something simple. "And since I'm not invited, I assumed my financial involvement wasn't needed." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "That's not what I meant," he wrote. "You know how things are." I didn't know how things were. That was the problem. Another message came quicker this time. "We didn't say you couldn't come by. We just thought it'd be easier." Easier for whom? He didn't say. I didn't respond. Later that afternoon, my aunt called. I let it go to voicemail. Her message was gentler, laced with concern, but it circled the same point. Everyone was stressed. Everyone had assumed no one had meant harm. No one mentioned the disinvitation itself, only the consequences. By evening, my dad called again. This time, his message was longer. "I think you're being dramatic," he said, irritation creeping back into his voice. "We're family. You don't just pull support like that." That was the line, the one that finally made everything clear. Support, in his mind, wasn't something freely given. It was an obligation, a role I'd been assigned, and was expected to perform regardless of how I was treated. I sat with that thought for a long time. When I finally replied, I sent him a text. It wasn't to argue. "I'm not pulling anything," and then, simply, "I'm just not participating this year." There was no immediate reply. Christmas came, quiet and still. I stayed home, made a small dinner, took a long walk in the cold, and allowed myself to feel the loneliness without trying to fix it. There were no apologies waiting for me. No dramatic reconciliation. Over the next week, a few stiff messages trickled in. Testing the boundary without acknowledging it, the relationship didn't end, it just changed shape. I stopped paying for things that excluded me. Stopped smoothing over moments that hurt. Stopped translating my silence into something they could rely on. My dad still calls sometimes. He doesn't snap the way he used to. There's caution now. Not warmth, just awareness. And in the silence that followed, I learned something important. Withdrawing isn't the same as punishing sometimes. It's just the first honest response you've allowed yourself to give.